gonna have a great time doing it. So we're gonna wait for our gauge. I got it where I wanted at 35 psi. Now this may be a little high. Good afternoon. On today's episode of Defiant Jeep, we continue with our 101 training for new off-roaders, new Jeep owners, or new four-wheel drive owners in general who want to experience the outdoors. Today we're going to be talking about recovery, the type of tools that we use, and suggestions on how to mount or hoist, whether it be with the winch, using some traction boards, points of location on where to attach some kind of recovery equipment, whether it be a strap or a rope or a hook. Let's go ahead and take a look, and I hope you find this entertaining and educational. Something that are really, really good to have are what we call traction boards. Traction boards look like these little tiny mini surfboards with studs on them. And you use them if you get stuck in sand, snow, sometimes mud, soft dirt. You basically wedge them under your tire, and again, having a shovel helps because you dig out some of the dirt around the tire or any dirt that accumulates underneath the Jeep. So in case you're high center, you want to clear that out. And then stick those in place, and you can literally just drive over them and get out of a rut, get out of a hole, get yourself unstuck. Talk to a lot of off-roaders, and they use these more than they use their winch.
That's right.
And let's say with a winch,
usually about his first set.
So you can go cheap on these, but it would be like a one-time use.
That's correct.
Something decent and you can use over.
Don't buy the
Like
cheap
$150.
here,
Yeah, you can get like the $200 ones, but they're reusable. You get the $60 one, you use it once and
They're done.
So, and is there a difference between just one consistent board, or I've seen the fold-up ones too? Anybody have any comments on that?
yeah, the fold-up ones don't work as well.
Yeah, the hinges become weak and they snap anyways.
Okay.
One time use.
The fold-up ones are good for your daily driver. You know, I keep some fold-ups in the Subaru, but for anything serious, if you're anticipating snow or mud, go with,
some of the higher end ones you can even use as a shovel.
Yeah, they have like a serrated front, and you can use them to dig down.
yeah, they don't work well as shovels.
In a pinch.
They're better than nothing.
In a pinch. But even if you just get a set of cheap boards, sometimes you can find boards $55, $60 a piece on Amazon. Read the reviews, make sure they got good reviews. But some of them they'll say cracked in half the first time I used it.
Yeah, I mean, I have the orange ones, but they're just so cumbersome.
Yeah, good point. Some of the boards actually have a place where you can rest your jack. So you get a more stable base, and it raises it up an inch or two. And you can stack your boards. So if you're using a bottle jack, you can put two boards on top of each other, and they'll interlace. And then you can put your bottle jack on top of that to give you that extra lift.
Good point.
Yeah.
Your board's recommendation, if you don't have a rack, and you have, I have a JLU, measure the space between the wheel well to wheel well on the back seat, and find a set that will actually fit there. So I have mine sitting in between there, so they're out of the way, they're just not laying in the middle, but yet anytime you need them, they're instantly available.
Yeah,
Because if you get them too big, you gotta find someplace to put them,
Exactly.
and you just don't carry them.
yeah, I do the exact same thing on mine. I've got 2 boards and the shovels sitting on top of the board. I found a shovel that's no longer than the boards, and the 3 of them just sit right behind the back seat, and I can still put junk on top of it if I need to, so it doesn't eat up all my storage space. But if you have roof racks or side racks, you can mount them there as well. But boards come in handy for just lots and lots of things. Recovery straps. There's basically 3 straps you're gonna need. And we'll talk about the 3 different kinds of straps, but ideally you wanna have one of each of these 3 in your vehicle. The first is what they call a toe strap. And it can either, the toe strap, it looks basically like a very thick seat belt. You know, there may be 3 inches or 4 inches tall and thick nylon, or sometimes you get them in rope form. Don't get chains. Chains are a real hassle, but stay with the synthetics. But basically the rope or the belt, they'll be 20 to 30 feet long, and you can get them rated as high as makes sense. But most of your toe straps are generally in the 20 to 30,000 pound range, which is more than enough for towing each other. You're not towing, you know, a semi truck behind you. The toe strap connects, and we'll talk about where to connect them, to the back of your vehicle, to the front of their vehicle, and that is literally for towing. Okay, so assuming that their wheels can roll, but their engine isn't working, or their diffs or whatever, you can literally just tow a vehicle. So it's a straight strap. The next thing you want to have is what we call a tree saver, which is the same thing as a toe strap, but instead of it being 20 or 30 feet long, they're generally 4 to 8 feet long. Just think of it as a very short toe strap. And we use those for a myriad of purposes. The most obvious is if you have to winch off of a tree stump, you put the strap around the bark to protect the tree. Because if you put just a wire winch directly to the stump, you're going to kill that tree. You're just going to cut through all the bark. It'll give it kind of like the botanical circumcision. You'll never forget that image, will you? When I taught sound in college, I explained the difference between a mono connector and a stereo connector. I said, yeah, the mono connector has 1 circumcision, and the stereo connector got 2 circumcisions. Nobody ever got that wrong on the test, ever. It just stuck in their memory. Those were the good old days when you could be politically correct and not thrown off campus. But anyway, tree saver, short little strap. You can just wrap it around literally a tree stump. If you have a solid rock that you know isn't loose, you can go around the rock. If you have to pull somebody out and they don't have any recovery points, you could loop your tree saver around their chassis or their axle just to give you a point to grab onto. Don't normally recommend doing that, but I've heard of recovery people having to do that, because sometimes there's just no place to fasten to. Another reason why we like Wranglers on our trails and not other vehicles, a lot of other vehicles don't have a place to attach a tow strap or a winch line or anything. They just have these little plastic bumpers in the front, and most people don't even know that there's little eye hooks that came with the car in the plastic bag that they never opened and probably left in their garage, go screw into 2 little openings in the front or back of the vehicle so that you can attach a tow line or a winch line. So if you have anybody who's coming out on the trail with you who doesn't have a good place to hook onto, make sure they bring those eye bolts. But anyway, so you want to have a tow strap, you want to have a tree saver strap.
For the toe straps, is there a certain width? Because I've seen them out and there's like really They range in like.
20 feet's a little tight, having just pulled someone off a trail a couple weekends ago. Although we felt like it actually was easier to navigate. 30 is usually like the,
No, not
Standard.
The length, the width.
oh, the width.
Probably 3 or 4 inches.
Some 3 to 4
Yeah.
inches.
And they do have a rated strength versus a breaking strength.
Mm-hmm.
So there is some things you gotta look
On
out
those
for.
toe straps,
Would you say
I
breaking
found,
Where they will actually snap. They have like a rated weight, like 6,500 pounds, and then their breaking weight might be like 15,000. That means if you put it made like snap at that point. So
the
Yeah.
toe straps, the synthetic are pretty expensive. I found a 30-footer at Cow Ranch for just under $300.
You're talking about a kinetic rope?
yeah, kinetic ropes are expensive. Toe straps are like
They also have
$55.
the same ropes for $50 but we're only 20 feet long, so I bought 2. And they're the loop ends, so I want to look
I'm
there.
gonna be careful with that.
Yeah, it's not a
Well-
solid piece.
I don't think I'm gonna need to be pulling a tank, but it'll get me out of something.
Yeah. One thing you want to be very careful about are the really inexpensive toe straps, like you find at Harbor Freight, Walmart. One, you don't want anything with steel hooks.
Or open hooks.
But the problem with these hooks is multifold. One, they're open, so they can come loose very easily. But 2, this strap may be rated for 20, 30,000 pounds before it breaks in half. Okay, but this cheap little, hot metal hook, that son of a bitch could snap at 1,000 pounds.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you don't want to get anything like that. You want to have the big embroidered loop, the heavy duty ones. But you see anything like this, run away.
What about a D-ring?
We're going to talk about rings in a second. We will get there. Okay, the third strap you want, remember we want to have a toe
Those are the
strap.
expensive ones.
You want to have a tree saver strap, a little shorty. And the third thing is what they call a snatch strap or a kinetic strap. You'll see both these terms used. Snatch straps can either be rope style or it can be belt style. You'll find both on the market. But essentially think bungee cord. The idea of a snatch strap is you hook it up to both vehicles. The lead vehicle gets a running start, stretches out the strap. The strap will stretch maybe 10%, 5%, something like that. And then like a bungee, all of a sudden it'll be done stretching and its kinetic energy will literally jerk the other vehicle out of its stuck spot. So you get the force of your Jeep and this extra stretch. So you get this rubber band effect. That's what they call a kinetic snatch strap. So you get a lot of jerk out of that. The problem is because these straps are designed to stretch and unstretch, you don't want to use them for towing. Because what will happen if you're towing somebody is you'll be moving, they'll be at a standstill, and all of a sudden, wham, they're going to get going, and then hopefully they hit their brake very quickly.
Maybe that's what he was talking
So you don't use them as a toe strap. Now you can add your toe strap to the back of your kinetic strap if you need a longer pull. Because you still have that kinetic stretch in your kinetic strap, and then you have a non-stretched, say 20-foot toe strap. You can go ahead and, put them together if some crazy situation you needed, more room to get somebody out of their stuck spot. Ditto, you could use your 8-foot for that. Sometimes when you're winching, what's very common to do is the vehicle with the winch, it's a Jeep. It weighs 4,000 pounds. You're pulling another Jeep that weighs 4,000 pounds, and it is stuck to its axles in yuck. So when you turn your winch on, guess which vehicle's gonna move?
They're both gonna
Right,
move.
the winch vehicle's gonna move, not the victim. So what we'll often do is try to anchor the winch vehicle either to another vehicle, further up the chain, or to a tree stump, or something solid. So for that, you'll use your tree straps and your tow strap to anchor the vehicle with the winch, and then they can work that way. So you can kind of, daisy chain things as necessary. So your kinetic straps are the expensive ones.
Is that like a 20, 30 footer as well?
That was the one that you.
Yeah. Yeah, 30 is good because it gives you room to get a running start, but at the very least 20.
If you're going on 13 mile, that was very important, I've noticed.
Kinetic rope.
Kinetic. Use
Yeah.
it like every time you've been out there.
Yeah, somebody gets stuck in sand or something.
They always get stuck in the sand.
Okay, so connecting these straps together and to the vehicle, you have what we call shackles. You have the traditional metal shackle, the D-ring, the centerpiece unscrews. When you use a shackle, very important, you want to have your pull against this part of the shackle and this part of the shackle. You don't want to stretch your shackle sideways. So make sure your shackles are arranged so that you're pulling here and here. Those are your strong points.
Fred, let me add to that. That point where you said that don't attach the shackle sideways for the stretching, that's called side loading, and it's an expression you may see somewhere if you're shopping for other towing appliances or packages. If they say don't side load, that's exactly what they're talking about.
And they also have a thing called a hitch shackle, which is really cool. If you have a towing hitch, towing receiver, this little metal thing goes into your tow receiver, and on the end of it, you have a shackle that you can attach a line to. A little emergency trick, if you have a tow hitch and you don't have a shackle on the back,
You can ask him.
you can use your pin. Just put the metal pin through that rectangular receiver, and you can attach a strap to the pin. But the trick is, go through the hole of the receiver. Don't put it around the outside. The outside of the pin is weak. It's that center post, which is the strongest because you've got a piece of metal and it's pressing against two edges. So that'll give you the most strength. So if you do need to, you could go directly to a pin, but these little hitch shackles come in very handy. We also have what we call a soft shackle. This is made out of the same stuff as, basically your tow ropes. These things are almost as strong as these. If you're using a soft shackle, this is kind of like a little noose that goes over a big knot. And what you want to do is pull from here and here. So that's where you put your pressure on. You don't pull from here to here, because what will happen is you'll pull this little knot out.
Some of y'all that were in the Navy, you'll recognize that little knot right there looks like a monkey fist. So you'll understand how it's used.
Yeah.
The monkey ball.
They also make a cool little gadget to work with your soft shackle, which is what we call a snatch block ring. You've probably seen the normal snatch blocks, which is like made out of aluminum and has two sides that kind of open and close. Those were designed for steel cable winches. Everybody is getting away from steel winch cables, going to the softer synthetic cables. And if you use a synthetic line through one of those old aluminum snatch blocks, you're very likely to fray the soft line or the synthetic winch line. So if you have a synthetic winch, you wanna use one of these kind of aluminum donuts. And this way your winch line goes around here, and you have kind of a pulley effect. Warn Winches, WARN. If you go to their website, look under product support or education, they make a beautiful 20-minute video all about basic winching. They don't get into all the complicated, 5 lines going this way, that way, raise that surface tent,
The manufacturer, we put in the.
straighten out the leaning tower
pieces.
pieces. They don't get into that stuff. That's for the recovery experts. They just cover everyday winching situations. What we call a straight pull, where you just hook a winch line from point to point, or what they call a redirect, where you would use a pulley and basically be able to winch at an angle, because sometimes it's not a straight path where the car has to be recovered. So you can use a simple pulley to give you kind of a right angle, or you can double your pulling force by basically going from the vehicle to the snatch block and then back. And so if you have a 9,000 pound winch and you use a snatch block or a pulley, you now have an 18,000 pound winch. It'll take twice as long to move the vehicle, but I mean, hey, you're in the middle of nowhere.
Where are you going?
Yeah.
There's no rush, it's not the Min 400. But that'll double your pulling force. But again, remember, when you double your pulling force, something's gotta hold your Jeep down. Or else your Jeep is gonna be the one moving, not the stuck vehicle. Again, that's why we use the tow straps and, the tree savers. Either get another vehicle on the side of your vehicle and connect to it, or something so that you've got, some sort of an anchor. Soft shackles are really nice. They run about $40, $50 for the good ones. And I like to stick them on the heads, on the headrests of driver and passenger for the people in the back. If there's something to hold on to for dear life. Also gives us a place to hang the trash bag. And, they just come in real handy. And besides, all the other people in the parking lot, when they try to figure out if we're posers or not, they come up to our Jeep. All those people are bold.
They got shackles.
They got scratches and shackles.
So Fred,
Yeah.
oh, never mind, you're going to those.
I was waiting for me to get to that part.
Yeah.
So, what I found out is when you're pulling someone with your winch, make sure you put your Jeep on neutral, not on park. Just put your e-brake on, because it actually screws up your transmission.
100%.
Very good point, thank you.
Make sure you put it on neutral instead of park.
The very little pin that's holding your vehicle in park,
Yeah, you'll slip
basically,
gears.
you'll.
Yeah, the park setting of your transmission is weak. So if you're doing the pulling or tugging, either be in gear, hitting the accelerator, or be in neutral and, stand on the brake, use your e-brake.
Also, if you're gonna pull someone out, you actually probably wanna do it in 4 low,
Yeah.
because your transmission will start heating up.
Yeah.
We started out in 4 high and then saw the transmission temperature was going up a little bit. So,
Or that's the other reason to carry one of these.
Good thing you
You
noticed.
go up to whoever has the biggest vehicle in the caravan and say, you're doing the towing.
The decisive persuader.
So politically incorrect today. All right, recovery points. This is where you attach to a vehicle. The 2 things that you have to distinguish is they're what they call tie-down points. And if you look under the bumper of most street cars and even the Jeeps, you'll find kind of thin metal or aluminum with a couple little holes on the side of it, kind of shallow. And that's for when your vehicle is on the flatbed towing truck, it keeps it from rolling off the truck. Or it kept it from rolling off the train car when they brought it to you. But if you tug with 20,000 pounds on one of those things, they'll just snap. That is not what we call a recovery point. That is a tie-down point. But on a Jeep, when you first got your Jeep, even if you got plastic bumpers, you'll see these little hooks the Jeep conveniently put there for us. Those are recovery hooks. Those are rock solid, so you can connect to those to tow or be towed. In the back of your vehicle, you'll see that there's this little hook coming off of one side, generally the driver's side. And again, you can attach to that to pull somebody or tow somebody. If you have one of those receiver shackles, if you've got the towing package on your Jeep, then you can insert one of those into your receiver and attach to that shackle. I generally like those because it's centered.
Yep.
So it's a more even pull as opposed to this, which is kind of lopsided. But again, depends what you're doing. If you're just towing somebody up a hill, that'll work fine. We know that from that Lexus we had to pull up that winter 4x4. Yeah.
The towing package shack that they're talking about, is that the two holes that are on a flat plate below the actual, whatever you call it, the receiver?
Yeah, those two holes, yeah, that's
Okay.
that's just not, that's just basically a tie down. It's not really.
That's why I thought those are awful thin, so.
Yeah, you don't want
to.
Yeah, you don't want to tow from those, that's just to keep your Jeep from rolling off.
Got it, okay.
Pull from the
A
actual
truck or a
receiver.
flatbed.
Or a tie down for the trailer.
What you want to do is either put your pin in the receiver and attach to that pin, or get one of those receiver hitches that go inside and has a shackle on the end of it.
Smarter, yeah.
And those are not that expensive, they're about $35.
Yeah.
You know, on Amazon, you can find them at Harbor Freight. Go to a rock concert in the middle of the encore, you can go check the parking lot and find them.
They have a lock for
Yeah,
that.
I do have a lock on mine, yeah.
There's
Noted.
some
So
cheap
it's
guy out there that's just got a
rolls
pin,
over.
he just pull it,
Now we know where Fred gets all his equipment.
Urban shopping.
yeah, right? No wonder he's got money, he don't spend it.
It's amazing what you can get in LA. Jacks, shackles.
What did you just say?
Parking lot shopping.
Oh.
One of the other reasons that we're a Wrangler club is, on a Wrangler, it's real easy to figure out where you're going to attach your recovery straps. If somebody hasn't tricked out their other 4x4, it can be a challenge. So, you know, my daily driver is a really nice Subaru Wilderness. You know, it's great for parking lots and malls. But if I had to pull that car or use that car to pull somebody else, there's really no good place to connect to. I got these little tiny eye bolts with the shallowest threads that somebody could figure out. I went to the Subaru guy, I said, this is supposed to be a recovery point. Shouldn't it be like a deep, heavy duty pin? Oh, no, we just kind of, you know, go over it with our little laser cutter.
Just put it right on the axle.
Yeah, it's fine.
Well, you gotta go down to get to the frame somewhere.
You know, but if we had mixed vehicles in a run, it would be a challenge to say, where do I hook up to? On Wranglers, we know where to hook up to. If it's a tricked out car, they've probably got shackles on the front and rear that easily connect to.
Fred, on that back bumper, I haven't replaced mine yet. I did the front, but I haven't done the back yet.
Yeah.
So is that hook, or that metal hook, is it attached to the bumper, or when I replace
It's
that
attached
bumper?
to the frame.
It is attached to the frame.
Yeah.
So when I replace the bumper, I don't need to
No.
worry about, okay, got it.
No, Jeep was nice, they gave us plastic bumpers,
Yeah.
with a heavy duty hook.
Good thing they didn't reverse it.
Well, it depends on which Jeep you get.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, you could have the steel bumper package if possible.
Yeah. But usually if it's a steel bumper, you normally have some recovery points on the bumper.
100%.
But these are all questions you should ask before
Yeah.
you head out, or before you take your friend out,
I have no friends.
you know. I mean, I have a lot of friends.
What about Larry?
I got Larry, there we go.
Larry.
Larry's just chopped liver.
I have a few friends.
Larry's is invisible, Fred. He just
And
made
that
them
is a
up.
concern for me. It's like, well, where do I hook up to? And they go, I don't know. I go, well, until you find out, you're not coming with me. Thank you very much. I'll take you to Mormon Wells, but nothing part of it.
Hey, I saw someone get 2 flat tires on Mormon Wells.
Yeah, because they had.
And a brand new Tacoma.
Bad luck.
That's
Super
where-
bad
that's where it
luck.
went wrong.
Again, because the street tires that come on your vehicle, you know, tend to be cheap. Something that a lot of dealers do, you have to be careful about, is some cars will come with a pretty decent factory all-terrain tire, and the dealers will steal them. They'll take them off, replace them with cheap Continentals, or, you know, just an inexpensive passenger tire, and keep the good tires so that they can resell them in their parts department to people and make extra profit. I've seen
Do it all
dealers
the
do
time.
that.
Not this one.
No, I haven't seen that.
So you do have to be careful.
That's why you got that thing in your back pocket.
That's right.
I want the
You're
tires that
doing what?
came with this vehicle.
Okay, so we're talking about the hitch receiver. There's a picture of the hitch receiver in use. And this is the pin, of course, that I'm talking about. So if you don't have the insert, you actually could put this loop
Right through
right through that pin.
On the inside.
100%.
And that will work.
That's pretty solid.
And I learned that from Milt at Dixie Four Wheel Drive. Milt says it's good. I believe it. He literally invented off-roading in Utah, if you know Milt from Dixie Four Wheel.
How dare he have a Bronco in the inside? What's up with that?
Traitor.
There's that Bronco out in the
Yeah,
parking lot.
if you ever have a chance and you're up in St. George, go visit
It's a
his
brand new
shop.
Bronco. It's like-
One of the nicest things is he used to have on display in his showroom half a Jeep.
Yeah.
Just basically a Jeep frame, and you could actually see the suspension and figure out what the hell all these bars and levers and connectors do.
Yeah.
That's
That's good.
so kind of like a
He's
giant
got a Bronco
Jeep.
in there.
They're good people. The one thing that is super important is never, ever, ever,
Oh,
ever
God.
Big
use a towing ball.
It's about as good as an open house.
Never tie anything around your balls. That's what he said.
How many people think that they can tow from that? I mean, my friends that we took out on the Jeep run to Goldview, you know, until I mentioned it to him, he was saying, oh, yeah, I can just put a strap over the tow ball. I said, no, you can't.
Don't do that.
Does that include pintle mount?
Yeah.
Actually, you can use those tow straps on the ball, but you have to have a loop that's big enough that you can get the furthest end of the tow strap behind where that rectangular silver thing is.
Oh, underneath the tow hitch, closer to
What,
the
you mean over
receiver.
here?
Yep.
Let me go up here and point,
Yeah.
because I had to do this once.
Still not
This
recommended.
part of it goes behind here, and when it comes out, you cross it so that the one that comes out on this side comes on this side of the ball, and the one that comes out on this side goes on that side of the ball. It can't go up because this is here, and it can't go down because this is here, so it won't come off.
What about a pintle mount?
Cross it.
Reinforce it. But generally for lane.
Yeah, I wouldn't this.
You know,
If
stay
it's
away
in
from
an
the loop has to be
emergency,
big.
yeah, but I don't
Because,
recommend.
but if they do it wrong, those balls will
They
snap.
just had a
like
YouTube. I mean,
like
that
a
just happened
slingshot.
not that long ago.
Yeah.
Someone got
And they'll
killed
shatter
doing
your rear
that.
windshield.
It went right through
or
its
worse.
windshield.
I was just gonna say to go through the glass.
Yeah, they just have that happen.
Or anything in its way.
It's full of pictures of people who've tried it. So again, the easiest solution, if you're faced with it, is take this off, put the strap through the hole,
Yep.
connected to the pin. That is much better than using that tow ball. Because those tow balls just are not designed for that kind of torque.
Rule number one, refer to not doing that. Rule number two,
Fred, on
refer
the
back to
top
rule number
picture,
one.
you.
Rule number
have
3, do not
bring
tie-
going
strap
up
anything
and
around your
down
balls.
Instead of sideways.
Makes no difference.
It doesn't make a difference,
No.
because I thought Steve said
What?
you shouldn't do that. That there, what was the name for that?
Which one?
Side loading.
Side loading.
That's not side loading.
Yeah.
Pulling this way and this way.
Yeah,
You don't wanna pull opposite of the opening.
got it,
If
okay.
you do use your shackle vertically, you wanna have the screw facing down.
Right.
Oh,
Because that way, if the screw should loosen up, gravity will keep it in place.
okay,
If you screw from the bottom up, you could lose the pin.
okay.
Obviously, if you're going horizontal, doesn't make a
It's
difference.
for you the other way, but, yeah.
Some of these D-rings do, in addition to having the screw, have a place for a cotter pin,
Yeah,
a little safety clip to prevent the pin from accidentally unscrewing. So those are the better ones to have. But you want to have the screw facing down, and contrary to what you would think, you don't want to over torque that screw. You don't want to really tighten it, because if you tighten it and then you put 20,000 pounds of force on it, you may never get that pin out again. It will be frozen. So most of them will say insert the pin and then back it off just a little bit. So it's actually loose rather than tight, because the pressure will automatically tighten it and bind threads. But again, vertically screw down, which is easy to remember, because if you go this way, it's a screw up.
And they said Lonzo was.
What a guy, what a that's an army expression. Slap my nail out. Along with assume, make an ass out of you and me.
Who knew you were gonna get training on that show?
Thanks for staying tuned. I hope you found this video on recovery educational and entertaining. We really enjoyed having you with us. Don't forget that coming soon will be www.defiantjeep.com. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And please join us on all our social networks. And once again, don't forget to join us at desertwranglers.club. We love to see you on the trail.